Hey, this is Mike from the Run Testers, and this is our first run video on the Huawei Watch GT Runner. Before jumping into our initial running thoughts on the Huawei Watch GT Runner, let's quickly go through the key running details you should know about this watch. The Runner is essentially a more running-focused version of the Huawei Watch GT3, but offers all of the same non-running features and hardware. So it runs on Huawei's Harmony OS, which does give you access to third-party apps, and it will work with Android phones and iPhones. On the design front, you're getting a 46mm case as opposed to the 42mm and 46mm options you get with the GT3. It comes with a polymer case and silicone strap, so does come in lighter than the GT3 as well, which features a metal and plastic case combo. One key design difference between the GT Runner and the GT3 is to do with positioning of the antenna, which is now hidden inside of the watch lugs that Huawei says reduces the weight of the watch and interference when locking onto a GPS signal. There's the same TrueSeed 5.0 heart rate monitor setup as the GT3, which has been upgraded from 4.0 to reduce light interference and overall improve accuracy of that heart rate monitoring. If you don't trust the HR data, you can pair up an external chest strap monitor with additional support for speed and cadence and power meters for cyclists as well. You're getting support for the 5 major satellite systems, and there's dual band GNS support, which means it can receive 2 different signals at different frequencies from satellite systems to help improve outdoor tracking accuracy. In terms of running modes, you're getting outdoor, indoor and trail running modes, and there is support for the ability to set up interval training sessions, but only from the watch. Huawei is offering customizable training programs and training insights here too, with training load a familiar one, a training index to assess fitness and fatigue levels, recovery insights, VO2 max estimates, and predicted race times. Those predicted race times are based on your running ability index, which looks at historical running data like heart rate, pace, distance, and workout frequency to score you from 40.7 to 85.3. So our 47 score says we are capable of running somewhere between a 3-hour and 3.5-hour marathon, which would seem pretty accurate already. Huawei also includes a lactate threshold test, which takes 20 to 30 minutes and needs to be done outside to help make sure you're not over or under training. There's navigation features here too, so you can share routes via the Huawei Health app with offline navigation support and a simple back to start mode on offer. Run data lives inside of Huawei's Health app, but you do have the capability to share data to Adidas Running and mapping service Komoot. Huawei, it seems, has been working on Strava integration, though that support hasn't appeared on our watch yet. There is an app called HealthSync though that can bring the two closer together. In terms of battery life, you're looking at up to 2 weeks, but there's no specification on what kind of GPS battery life you could expect from this watch. Now, the first one I did with this watch was a track session. Now, you can do interval training on this watch. I didn't set it up. I literally got this out of the box, got it set up and then just went running with it, essentially. But I did run with this and the Garmin Fenix 7. And what I wanted to do was get a sense, really, of the heart rate monitor performance when it's at high intensity, which is where in the past I've had issues with the Huawei heart rate monitor sensors. Now, you've got an improved sensor here, which is promising to offer kind of better accuracy in terms of, comparison with a chest strap monitor. Now, what we'll add as well is that you can now pair a chest strap monitor with this watch, which you weren't previously able to do on the Huawei Watch GT2 series. Huawei has added this feature as well to the Huawei Watch GT3, so if you've got that watch and you haven't updated it yet, you can now pair a chest strap monitor to that watch as well. Now, in terms of that heart rate monitor performance, I had the Fenix 7 paired up to a Wahoo chest strap monitor. I had quite a meaty interval training session. I hadn't, it was cold as well, so kind of perfect kind of environment and scenario to kind of test it out. Now, comparing the data, it wasn't too bad. The maximum heart rate was matched up with the Wahoo ticker, and the average heart rate was about 5 BPM out from the chest strap as well. Looking at the graphs, they are a little bit off in terms of the data recorded. I found it generally reliable. It definitely feels like a little bit of an improvement on what I have experienced before. So the second run I did with this watch was a club run. It was a kind of hilly 8-mile run. I was using the Garmin Fenix 7 compared to a Wahoo Ticker chest strap to kind of compare the data. And essentially what I saw from a kind of GPS performance, the 8-mile run, it was pretty much 8 miles on the Garmin. It was a little bit over on the Huawei. I think it was 8:04. Obviously, in the Huawei, you've got the dual band GNS support, and on the Garmin, you've got the multi-band GNS support, which is, you know, the most accurate you can probably get at the moment. I had a little look at the routes on kind of respective apps, and they look pretty good on the whole. It wasn't a huge amount of difference in terms of GPS, I think, but definitely a little bit more accurate on the Fenix, which is what I would expect. The kind of some of the core running metrics were pretty similar in terms of things like average pace. Now in heart rate monitoring, I had a good kind of performance in the track session. On this second run, it was a little bit more of a disparity in terms of the information. The Huawei did post higher maximum heart rate readings, which is a little bit disappointing to see. But as I mentioned, you can use this with a heart rate monitor chest strap, and that's probably what I would end up doing to kind of make use of all the other features here. In terms of battery life, I saw a kind of drop off of kind of 10 to 12%. I would say the 12% was kind of to factor in the warm up run that I did to kind of getting to my run. So I would essentially say it's about 10%. So similar to what I've seen with the Huawei Watch GT3 as well, kind of what I was expecting on the kind of battery performance front. So in that second run, it was okay in places, heart rate not quite there for me, but generally a solid performance, a really nice watch to run in, a nice watch to kind of absorb that information. You can have it in always on if you want, and it was comfortable to wear during that kind of hour's worth of running overall. So initial thoughts on the Huawei Watch GT Runner so far is actually pretty good. You know, not perfect, which is what I kind of expected, but actually there's definitely feels like there's more good and bad here. I definitely appreciate that this is kind of a nicer watch to run with than the Huawei Watch GT3. It's nice, light, comfortable. The screen's great on it as well. I didn't have any problems kind of viewing my data. In terms of kind of the accuracy performance, the GPS was okay. Obviously, it was a little bit off on the kind of my main run, but generally I was pretty happy with what the metrics that kind of generated. Heart rate monitoring performance, had a good experience of it in the track session, not so good in my other run. So there's definitely kind of some issues there, I think, but obviously the fact that Huawei is addressing some of these things is good to see in terms of that kind of external monitor support. In terms of generally using this watch, it's been very similar to what I've experienced on the Huawei Watch GT3. Things like notifications, things like kind of music controls, all the kind of smartwatch kind of features have kind of worked in a kind of very similar fashion. I quite like the kind of more data-rich watch face you're getting here for kind of, that's kind of aimed at runners as well. And then battery performance seems very, very similar to what I experienced on the Huawei Watch GT3. You probably can get 2 weeks, but if you're using it in heavy usage, it's probably going to be kind of a solid week, essentially, overall. So yeah, so far so good. It is actually a watch, even though over a few days I've actually quite enjoyed wearing. It feels very light. I think it looks quite good as well. Probably more my kind of look compared to the kind of Huawei Watch GT3 and the Huawei Watch 3. Yeah, a watch that I'm looking forward to spending a little bit more testing time with. Definitely going to have to spend a bit more to kind of learn a little bit more how reliable things like the kind of running programs, the kind of training insights, the kind of running ability index that Huawei is making a big deal of as well. We'll kind of pan out over kind of having more sessions and more data in there to kind of analyze. So yeah, that's my kind of initial thoughts on the Huawei Watch GT Runner. So there you have it. That is our first run thoughts on the Huawei Watch GT Runner. Now, obviously, we have plenty more testing to do, and we will be taking consideration the Huawei Watch GT3 as well in terms of how it fits with that watch and other Huawei watches as well. Now, if you've got any questions about the testing or anything, features that you want to know about, let us know in the comments. As always, like and subscribe, hit that little bell to find out about our latest videos, and yeah, we'll see you for the next Run Testers video.